Good morning, guys. We are gonna welcome to M Connect's monthly webinar. So we're gonna start our webinar in few minutes. Again, this is the topic for today, where we're gonna talk about Facebook advertising tips on a small budget. So we're gonna wait for a few more, couple more minutes, so that we can have maybe anyone who might be joining late, they can join us as well. Right. I hope everyone can see my screen. All right. Morning, everyone, and I hope everyone is safe and following all the CDC guidelines in terms of social distancing. So this is our September's monthly webinar, M Connects, where we talk about small businesses, marketing, data analytics, restaurant marketing, and everything under the sun. So today's topic, as you can see, is obviously is Facebook advertising and how small businesses can get maximum results out of a small budget they have. Right, and a little bit about ourselves. Founded in 2015 with a focus on restaurant marketing and also we are more data driven in the sense we look at data trying to understand how customers are engaging with the brand and understand their interactions, and we have come up with what we call as an A2A model, which talks about the different phases, how they're interacting with the brand across these phases, and how we can move them using our platform to move them from what we call as an awareness to advocacy phases. So this is what our customer engagement model is all about, where we wanted to try to push try to push our customers from the awareness to the advocacy, and we have built our platform to enable that customer engagement and also trying to get the max out of marketing campaigns. So today we're going to talk about a little bit about why we need Facebook. Again, maybe it's an often repeated cliche in terms of the massive amounts or of data as well as massive customer base that Facebook has. And also our emphasis on this webinar in this webinar would be more on what all things a small business can do in terms of getting the max out of their budget, marketing budget on Facebook. So we will talk about specifically based on our experience with our clients, based on the industry standards, so that for you, whether you are a small business owner or if you're a marketing agency, who's helping other businesses, they can basically learn from this. As always, we would actually have the webinar on our YouTube channel that you can actually use, as well as these slides would be on our slide share that you can subscribe to. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us during this webinar, or also you can send us an email at marketing@mconnect.com, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. If we cannot answer them, we will research them and get back to you. Again, in terms of why Facebook, there are two things that we always tell our clients. First is not just the number of users, the active number of users they actually have, but also in terms of the data as well. When we talk about data, if you look at the genesis of Facebook, right, people have given their information in terms of what they like, where do they live, what is their work history, and based on the pages they like, and all those kind of things. So it's a complete, comprehensive customer information that is out there, which is scary at the same time. Where for you as an advertising person, if you want to basically say, okay, I want to reach within this particular zone or within this particular area who has these specific demographics and all those kind of things, right? So that itself is a very, very powerful tool in terms of you're not basically throwing a dart in the dark saying that, okay, will it hit the right customer or not? With this information, again, for most part, right? For most part, the information that is provided on Facebook is provided by the customer with an intention of letting their friends and family know about them. And also, over years, they have actually built a plethora of different platforms, so as to say, started as Facebook, then Instagram, then WhatsApp, and whatnot. So if you're looking at it, they are basically changing the way they are conducting the business. And so that itself, again, says how massive Facebook is and will be in the foreseeable future. So with that said, that you have not just like Facebook, but you're also having the different network of products, or that would enable for you to kind of cross optimize between different channels, so as to speak, in order for you as a business to reach out to your customer. So we don't want to spend too much time on this one again as to like why, in terms of like, again, this is another feature, why Facebook is, again, right. There are, if you look at it, they are changing, like I think this week itself they have changed their look and feel, and also they have been focusing less and less in terms of uh, less and less in terms of news feed and all those kind of things. They're going towards Facebook groups, right, and making more focus on the end customer, saying that, okay, how is the Facebook end customer is interacting with the brand and all those kind of things. And they are very proactive in making sure that, even though if you look at it, right, and from an advertising point of view or from a Facebook perspective, they have just done away with the news feed, or in terms of like customer getting information. So they're more focusing on Facebook groups. And recently also Apple has, I think, has come up with this rule, or was it Google, where they've stopped using, or in the near future in 2021 they'll stop using cookies. So cookies are something that you use to kind of keep track your behavior on websites. So with that in coming up in the force in the future, so your interactions on Facebook as a customer will be more determined by your likes and by your friends and family, and so it becomes all the more powerful medium for you as an advertiser to keep track of your customer engagement when it comes to how they are behaving out there in the online and all those kind of things, right? But if you look at it again, like these are some of the things where they are saying that, okay, will it increase my cost and all those kind of things? But actually, as a matter of fact, because of the increased engagement, more and more people are actually kind of focusing on Facebook. And over the few couple of weeks, we have actually seen some boycotts actually happened last month. But again, that is a temporary blip, and obviously with such a massive platform, it does has Facebook has its own set of issues, but they are trying to overcome it. And then again, if you take out the money from Facebook, where else can you put that, right? So it's more or less that's for now, that's the only foreseeable channel that we actually see in terms of this one, right? And again, from a budgeting standpoint of view as well, like we have most of our customers, we basically do small burst of campaign with a very limited budget. And then again, the fact that like you can actually get results on these campaigns because of the kind of data that Facebook provides, right? Again, bear in mind your return on investment when you're putting a $10, you're not basically going to get $1 million out of it. It's all about like if you put $10, definitely you will get like $10, $11, or $12 worth of return on investment kind of a thing, right? So having put down the fact that like Facebook, with its massive number of daily users, with its massive amount of user information, and with its network, having laid out the business case for why Facebook and why you can actually get from a small budget, we're going to focus mostly on things like what are the different things that you as a user can do in order for or an agency or an small business owner can do in order to get the maximum out of it, right? So we will be talking about these are the different tools or techniques or Facebook itself provides these kind of avenues for you as a small business owner or for as a marketing agency to kind of run successful Facebook ads. And we're going to actually talk on each of these parameters in terms of like boosting posts and how can you run some campaigns, what kind of ads you need to run, A/B testing, right? And also where do you have to place these ads, and how can you actually, again, as we said, right, like it is a data intensive platform in the sense that like it's not that you basically run the campaign and just sit and kind of like not know how your ads are doing. So Facebook provides you with a lot of data in terms of, okay, are people clicking on it, where are they clicking on it, at what times are they clicking on it, and when they're actually clicking on it, where are they landing, and then on the landing page, maybe you can do some things on your side to see are they completing the task and so on and so forth. So having said that, we're going to delve into each of these different um, um, different feature sets or different strategies that you can actually look in and fine tune your Facebook ad strategy so that you can get the max out of it. All right, and then we'll actually start with the boost post, right? So again, as with any business, you want to let your customers know. For example, let's take again, given the current COVID situation, you want to know that hey, you are actually offering curbside pickup as a restaurant owner, right? So that means, is it possible for you to kind of increase that particular increase the reach? Again, if you look at from an advertising point of view, right, there are two things that you actually look for. One is basically what is the awareness in terms of reach and number of eyeballs or in terms of how many people you are able to get to. right? And then the second fact is how many people are actually engaging with you as a brand. So these are the two parameters in terms of, like, again, those are the first two stages of customer interaction with you as a brand, like the awareness and the engagement. Again, these are the two phases that we actually keep track as part of our A to A model, where we are looking at, okay, if you post something, again, let's assume this way, right? If I'm posting, like, again, a curbside pickup, so you want to let all your existing customers know that, hey, listen, like, we have started the curbside pickup. All you have to do is, when you're at the store, call us, or we have this app or something like that. When you activate it, we will get a beacon, and we'll basically come outside and give you the food and all those kind of things, right? That's one thing. And then you want to see how many people are actually clicking on that post and all those kind of things. So in terms of, again, from boosting the post perspective, Facebook does say that, hey, do you want to basically boost this post? And also at the same time, do you want to basically get more in terms of sharings, likings, or commenting? Like, for example, again, going back to this example of um, the curbside pickup. You want people to be engaged, asking questions, saying that, hey, can I do a curbside pickup? Are there any specific hours where this curbside pickup is available? What happens if you are not coming outside? Do I have to come inside the restaurant, or do I have to call you when I call you if your restaurant is busy or something like? So these are the kind of questions you would like customers to ask on that particular post. So that means you know that people are actually interested in placing a curbside pickup order at your restaurant, right? So that will give you an understanding. Yes, I can expect like few orders today because I have boosted this post and people are asking these questions. So hopefully that will turn into the actual acquisition, which is the third stage of the customer engagement with your brand, right? Because people have seen this post when you have boosted it, and also you are basically getting some kind of questions on the post, and then you can actually look at your online ordering and see, okay, am I getting some orders because of this particular post that you have done, right? Again, you can also, when you're thinking of boosting and versus creating an ad, boosting a post is a straightforward thing. It's like you're posting some information about your brand, and then, whereas the Facebook ads is to do with more in terms of, hey, I have a very specific thing, or an objective for me, for my customers to act on it and all those kind of things, right? So there is a difference between, whereas an ad campaigns, you have far more choices in terms of doing some placements and how much, where all you want to do it, what kind of bidding you can do, and so on and so forth. And on the boosting the post, it's more straightforward, where you're just letting the customers know more about the updates that you're actually doing, right? In terms of, like, now, obviously, you're like, in terms of boosting the post as a long-term strategy is, you want to have a mix of things, in the sense that, like, you want to let your the regular updates that are actually going on. For example, even when you're posting an offer, or a coupon or something, Facebook basically pops up and says, hey, do you want to convert this into an offer? And when you actually convert that into an offer, again, it will go and ask, hey, do you want to basically make sure that you want to actually have more in terms of, do you want to again boost this or run an ad or something like that, that they'll actually keep on asking on those lines, right? So again, in terms of, from a strategy point of view, right, you need to make sure that you have a specific number of posts that you want to boost, with a mix of your ad campaigns as well, so that you are mixing things in terms of, like, from a campaign perspective and from a information dissemination, which is basically your boosting post perspective, right? And then again, make sure that the budget that you actually have has to have a better, in terms of, we are not saying that you need to spend thousands of dollars, But at the same time, you cannot expect results wherein you're saying, okay, I'm going to spend like $5 or $10, and that's it in a month, and expect a whole lot in terms of the return was, right? So bear that in mind in terms of making sure that what is that you're looking for in terms of when you're running these campaigns. And that's where the second thing is, right? In the sense that, do you want to keep on boosting the post, or do you want to have a mix of both the boosting as well as the ad campaigns? And now, that follows our second point in terms of, okay, why are you basically having these kind of things in terms of, again, from a goal perspective, right? Again, Facebook does provide a few things in terms of, like, for example, if you're a new restaurant, so your objective is to reach the maximum number of people. So it has to be more in terms of the reach or the brand awareness, right? That is your first set of things that you actually have here. But if you want more in terms of the engagement, or in terms of something like you want people to message you or something like that, that is your engagement perspective in terms of making sure that like customers are interacting with you or something, right? And the third part is like basically conversions, right? Or basically what we call as an acquisition. Again, if you look at our model, the A to A model, we are talking about awareness, engagement, the acquisition part, and then the loyalty and the advocacy follows that. But in terms of making sure that what is your primary objective of running any specific ad, we are not talking just about on Facebook itself. Any kind of ad campaign or marketing campaign that you run, we always talk about what is the objective of that particular marketing or an ad campaign. Is it to increase awareness, or to have more people interact with you, or you want to people buy, or do you want to increase the frequency of the buy, which is your loyalty phase, or do you want your customers, your existing customers, to talk about you, which is your advocacy, right? So if you have a clear cut objective in terms of what exactly you're looking for, so that way you will define the metrics. Like, for example, if you want more people to buy from you, so your metric would be the number of sales done in a particular ad campaign, right? What is the average order value, and in terms of like from where are they coming, when are they buying, are they buying when I'm running the ad? Are they buying, I ran the ad for a day and the next day I'm seeing more results? So is there a lead time in terms of me running the ad and me getting the sales, in terms of like the people placing an order, maybe with a specific coupon and so on and so forth. So that way, you know that if you want to increase your ad, revenues on a Saturday, so that means you need to start running your ads from Thursday. So that means in terms of making sure that you all have your campaign ready and all those kind of things, maybe by Tuesday, Wednesday, so that Facebook can approve your ad and you can start running the ad on Thursday and Friday, and you will see the results in terms of the conversions on a Saturday. So having clear goal is very, very crucial in terms of what exactly you're looking for. Once you have this one, so you have to start looking at, okay, from a campaigns perspective, right? Again, we call as ad sets. Ad sets are nothing but, again, let's talk about the restaurant where they want to increase their curbside pickup, right? So that means you want to run an ad with two different, maybe like an ad which will talk about, hey, listen, I want to increase the online ordering for curbside pickup. So I'm going to actually have the ad set is targeting a specific customers with the specific messaging and all those kind of things, saying that, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And I will actually have maybe one targeting a certain set in terms of certain categories. Like, let's assume I want to target people who want to place an order with a coupon, or I want to place an order who likes Mexican food, or tacos or something like that. And maybe another would be, I want to run a campaign which would be basically saying who actually like to eat out and all those kind of things. So these are two different ad sets that you're running in terms of, again, within that you have the ads which talks about the specific message that you want to see. So you want to make sure that you're not running within the limited budget, you want to make sure that the number of ads that you're running is limited, so you can see which ads are running better, so that you can refine that and kind of like increase on that. Again, when we talk about Facebook ads, there are a lot of factors which we're going to talk in a few minutes, in terms of like placement, in terms of the profiles, and in terms of like budgeting and all those kind of things. How much you want to pay per click, or per cost per seeing, or CPMs, and all those kind of things, right? And then again, as we talked about, right, the A/B testing is basically talking in terms of like, okay, which ad runs better when compared with your objectives, right? Again, when we talk about you want people to place an order, do not make sure that you are having like two or three ads that you are comparing, and make sure that you're not changing a whole lot of variations, in the sense that, okay, you want to run the ad on a Thursday morning from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, so that maybe on Friday itself you will start seeing the results, and you want to place these ads on mobile screens, and with this budget, and you want to pay per click would be, I mean, say click per it would be maybe 20 cents or 40 cents or whatever be the case. And so that you know that when you run the ad, you know that which ad is doing better. And then you can actually focus on those parameters, in terms of saying, okay, now if I run the ad on Thursday 8 to 10, should I run the ad from 8 to 9 or 9 to 10? Should I put it on desktop, or should I basically just do only mobile? So you have like kind of narrowed down your options, in terms of which are the parameters that you're going to focus on, because you have done the preliminary analysis and think that running an ad for Thursday from 8 to 10 would be much more beneficial than running an ad from 2 to 4 or something like that on a Thursday evening, right? So in terms of, again, from an ad perspective, right, as we talked about, in terms of, if you look at it, Facebook has this massive amounts of data, like for their customers, in terms of like what they like, where they're living, where they're working, how have they interacted with the other pages, and all those kind of things. So you can look at like creating custom audience, or in terms of like who do you want to target, based on your current what should current um, the product that, or the service that you're selling, and also in terms of like who your target audience is, based on this product or the service that you have, right? Again, Facebook does provide a lot of information in terms of their likes and all those kind of things, zip codes, so that you know that if you're a small restaurant or a restaurant owner, your target audience will basically be within the 3 to 5 mile radius, and that you can actually target them. Now, apart from that, you can also import, or like start looking at non-Facebook data, in terms of your website visits, or if there's any app active, if you have an app or something like that. And the best way is like basically implementing Facebook pixels onto your website, so that whenever someone excuse me, when a customer basically lands on the particular page, Facebook basically gets the data from them, so that they can actually keep track of all these the custom audience, in terms of adding to their repository of customer information. Again, bear in mind, the more information they have, the better off, in terms of like from a targeting point of view. We are mainly talking at this point of time in terms of how having data about your customers will make Facebook a better targeting platform to run your ads, right? You can also upload information in terms of online orders, like whatever online orders you get, you can actually upload information about your name, first name, their email addresses, their phone numbers, and also their delivery address. So Facebook takes all this set of data and then tries to basically compare it and create a custom profile, in terms of saying that, okay, if you want to target your target audience is, let's assume this way, like 30-year-old, maybe with two kids, and then who has an income of 50K per year, and all those kind of things. So based on that, they can Facebook can say, okay, if this is your target segment, we have within this zip code of 1111, there are like 30,000 people who fit that profile, and if you want to reach them out, it will basically cost you $100. So now, when you're running your ads, you know that, okay, I might not be able to reach out to all the 30,000 people. Maybe I might be able to reach 3,000 people. So I'm going to spend one tenth of the $100, which is $10, and I need to reach out to 3,000 people because my message to them will resonate because that's what they like maybe a buy one pizza get a second pizza free or something like that. And then out of these 3,000 people, maybe around 300 will actually interact with me, in the sense that like the engagement. Out of that 300, maybe 15 will maybe place an order with me, each spending $30, which is like $450 in revenue. Again, I'm just simplifying the whole math here in terms of saying that from 30,000, you are basically looking at 15 orders coming down, because you have all this set of data in terms of in terms of the people who are liking your page and all those kind of things, and also your other information. And apart from that, as you can see, Facebook does have a whole lot of information about you. Which pages have you liked, which events are you going to, do you actually have like an Instagram page or WhatsApp and all those kind of things, and what videos are you watching. So based on this, they can actually showcase that, okay, along with the information that you are providing to Facebook, they can come up with specific customer profiles that you can actually target. So again, as I said, right, like when you upload this information, and when Facebook is getting information from your page and all those things, they will say that, okay, if your target audience is this, which is basically in this case the lookalike audience, if your target audience is this, we're going to actually show that we would actually have so many people, in the sense that we would actually have um, um, so many people within that zip code, and you can actually reach out to them, and so on and so forth, right? So again, it's all about like having as much customer data as possible in terms of what exactly um, you in terms of your customer profiles, and then going after them uh, uh, within your zone, so that you can basically go ahead and start like um, um, targeting those audience with that specific set of uh, as in with a limited budget, right? Again, we have information about, as we talked about, what are their demographics, location, their gender, age, and all those kind of things. What do they like? Do they like tacos? Do they like something else? And you have so many interests and other connections. They are actually based on, like, let's assume if I like all about marketing, so maybe the information that, or the ads that are shown to me, could be around marketing books or marketing webinars or something on those lines, that they will actually say in terms of that they actually say. And then based on this one, you can target again, when you want to make sure that your the audience that you're targeting is not very niche, in the sense that, like, let's assume you want someone, again, taking as an example, right, who's health conscious, who's a jogger, who eats salads, who is like 50 plus, all these kind. If you have the more parameters or customer parameters that you add, the funnel as such, or the customer segment that you would actually have, keeps on going down and down and down, and you might actually have 3 or 4 people who meet that target segment. So at that point of time, Facebook itself will come back and say, listen, like, the the target segment that you are going after is very, very limited, so we cannot run your ads. So you need to make sure that you are not basically saying target all the people in the United States, like 350 million people, which then with $10 budget you can't reach. At the same time, with the $10 budget, you say, I want a person who's 50 years, who's health conscious, who runs for 5 miles a day, and who likes tacos and who likes going out and all those kind of things. You might basically end up with three or four people. And again, Facebook at that point of time says, no, we cannot run the ad with these too many parameters, right? So you need to make sure that you identify your target audience, and at the same time, you also Facebook also provides this what we call as the or what they call as Facebook audience overlap tool, in the sense that if you want to target the same set of audience twice, like in who are health conscious and who eat salads and who jog every day, and who likes to do maybe mountain biking or something like that. So when you're doing this, you might actually have an overlap, and you don't want to have that kind of overlap, in the sense that because you might be targeting them with the same ads over and over again. So you want to make sure that when you are doing that, you need to make sure that um, the overlap is minimal, or you can actually kind of uh, uh, make sure that you are like using this tool, the audience overlap tool. You can basically exclude this so that you're targeting the right kind of audience only once, rather than basically making them look at the same ads or different ads, which confuses the people, right? Now, once you have identified your target segment and what is that you want to do, and you need to basically look at what we call as the frequency and the duration, right? So in the sense that you don't want to run an ad for too long, for months and months. At the same time, you don't want to run an ad in short bursts. So you need to actually have a combination of things, right? In the sense that when we talk about, like, again, if you look at, you want to basically tell people that, hey, we have curbside pickup. So now you are promoting curbside pickup with a short duration, maybe 3-4 days, with a burst of ads saying that now open and available for curbside pickup. So that would be your primary message. Keep on harping the fact that now we are running this, so that people who are getting the ads or who are getting exposed to your messaging, they get the messaging maybe 3-4 times and all those kind of things. And Facebook does provide that, like, okay, how many times do you want to show the ad and all those kind of things. You don't want to basically bombard them with too many times, which kind of leads to the customers turning it off and all those kind of things, right? So you want to make sure that there is an optimal time, and in terms of how many times you want to show them and all those kind of things. But at the same time, let's assume this way, again, going back to this curbside pickup, then after you run this ad, maybe your focus should be, now people know that I am doing curbside pickup. What can we do in order for us to kind of reiterate the message, but maybe in a different way, or add on to that saying that now if you order curbside pickup, you'll get 10% off, or showing them that, hey, listen, like, because of the COVID situation, we are following social distancing, we are deep cleaning our store every 2 hours, and all these kind of things. Oh, by the way, we also have a curbside pickup. So that way, the concept of like saying that the restaurant is open, you're doing all you can in terms of making sure that you are following the protocols, and you're also conveying the message that there is a curbside pickup. So the customers are getting a different set of message, in the sense that at the overall level, it is the same thing. Your restaurant is COVID prepared, or making sure that you are taking all the precautions. At the same time, you're also telling them, for the customers to come and um, pick up the food, and be rest assured that all the things that that you can do in order to prevent or have these kind of infections and all those kind of things are minimized to the maximum possible level. Right. So once you actually have this information, again, bear in mind, we are talking about the different strategies that you need to do in order to make sure that the budget that you have for Facebook ads are stretched to the max in terms of a return on investment perspective and also in terms of the effectiveness perspective. So you need to make sure that you are like identifying whether you want to boost the post or run ad campaigns. Once you have identified the ad campaigns, you need to make sure that what kind of how many ads do you want to run, what is the primary objective of you running the ad, and in terms of like um, in terms of again how many times you want to basically run the ad and all those kind of things, right? And also who your target segment is. Once you identify all these things, then you need to look at, okay, do I need to basically place these ads automatically, or let Facebook decide as to where they can actually put it, or do I actually say that, okay, I'm going to pay like 30 cents for each click, or maybe a $1 for 1,000 impressions, and so on and so forth. So you need to make sure that again this falls within your budget in terms of what exactly the budget that you actually are looking for, right? So with that in mind, right, again you need to make sure that um, from a delivery perspective, right, you actually have this relevancy score and also what we'll call estimated action rates. These are the factors that will actually decide, saying that, okay, if you want to run an bid for 20 cents or 30 cents per click, so many, if your budget is for $10, you will get maybe 40 clicks and the reach of 500 people or something like that. So Facebook does calculate this, and it will give you a relevancy factor in terms of saying that, okay, with a budget of like this and this kind of a click rate that you're looking for, these are the kind of results that you can expect. But if you want to have again manual bidding versus automatic bidding, most of the times people choose automatic bidding again at that point of time, depending upon multiple factors, right? Like, hey, if you're placing an order and if you're a restaurant and you want automatic bidding, most of the people will be searching for or more interested during weekends or maybe over the evenings or something like that to place an order. So that means from a bid perspective, a lot of customers are actually, or a lot of advertisers are actually targeting in the evening. So that means instead of you thinking that I'm going to pay 30 cents per click, you might end up paying 60 cents per click in the evening, because Facebook thinks, oh, okay, if you want to run the ad within these, you have 5 days of this particular ad campaign and you have given me $10, and you're basically telling me that each day you spend $2, and I have, from a Facebook perspective, they want to spend that $2 because that's how they're going to make money. So in the sense that, like, in all through the morning they are spending, like, there are not many people who are looking for food or placing an order or something, and all of a sudden in the evening there are many people who are looking for food. So at that point of time, rather than 30 cents, it's going to cost you 50 cents. So that means there will be only 4 clicks instead of like 6.5 clicks that you were expecting. But if you look at it, the people who are clicking at the end of the day are more likely to place an order. So that means out of the 4 clicks that you get, maybe you might get actually 2 orders. But if you have put as manual bidding as 30 cents, and not a whole lot of people are clicking, and then in the evening, if Facebook wants to basically place your ad and they see it's a 30 cents, no, I cannot place an ad because the next door neighbor is placing a 50 cents for that click, and they're going to display that ad in terms of from a click perspective and from a this one, right? Again, as I said, it has to do with more to do with multiple factors in terms of like who is your target segment, what kind of ads you're running, and all those kind of things, and making if it's a manual bid versus automatic bid, in terms of making sure that which way to go, again making, because Facebook does, again obviously with lots and lots of data they have, they keep on changing, okay, for which one do I need to go for, in the sense from, can I place an ad on this particular page for this particular campaign, and all those kind of things, so that Facebook can you can expect results. Obviously there are certain concerns here in terms of the robo clicking and all those kind of things, and that is up to obviously the networks to prevent in terms of those robo clicks and all those kind of things as well, right? And again, in terms of like the bidding is in turn in conjunction with the ad placements. What did ad placements means is like, hey, in terms of the network wise, and also in terms of whether you want like the FAM, which is the Facebook's audience network, wherein it's not just maybe within Facebook, they can also want to place an ad on Instagram or run an ad on WhatsApp or something like that in terms of the network that they have actually built. Or do you want to just only do manual placements, and since I want to only target Facebook customers only, and so on and so forth? So that way, you are limiting in terms of the platforms, but also in terms of the devices as well. Like, hey, do you want to only show these ads for people on the mobile phones? Like, for example, let's say you are maybe a food truck, so that means you want people on the go to come and basically place an order than people who are sitting at home or on desktop. So that means you want to focus on those people who are using mobile networks. So that way, the probability of those customers coming to your food truck is much higher than a person who's sitting at a desktop. Again, just as a random example here, right? So that you know that which ones are uh, more likely to click on the ad and act on it. And again, the whole purpose of for you as a small business, depending upon the objective is, hey, do you want more people to buy or to engage, or just like if you want to reach as many people as possible, that is a separate, like where you're creating an awareness campaign, like you've changed your logo, you've changed your hours of operation and all those kind of things as well. And making sure, again, having an effective copy, in the sense that when we talk about effective copy, there are multiple things that actually go in. Facebook does provide few tools in terms of saying that they have like an 80/20 rule, in the sense that like your ads should not have more than 20% text, and also should be visually appealing and should have the right dimensions and all those facets that will actually go, so that people, when they look at it, they are forced to, not forced, but more in terms of enthused or kind of attracted to click on that particular ad or a video or whatever you want to do it, right? So the effective copy is multiple things that actually go into the fact that, okay, what is that? It goes back to the fact that, like, who's your target segment, what is that you're wanting the target segment to do, right? And maybe if you're placing the ads only on mobile networks and all those kind of things, how would the ad would look like on from a dimensions perspective on mobile, and when compared with your this one, um, um, when compared with when compared with desktop, right? So with that in mind, you need to make sure that when you're creating the content in terms of the ads itself, is it possible for you to kind of like use some content from other users, or do you have a better pictures? Again, if you're a restaurant, obviously you want to make sure that the focus is on the food itself, or if you want to focus on curbside pickup, you might want to focus on the video showing someone coming and picking up in a safe environment and all those kind of things. So it depends on what is that you want to run, and based on that, you need to make sure that you come up with the content of the ad, and trying to understand what is that you're offering, or you want the customer to know in terms of the content wise, in terms of what is the unique proposition, what is your USP, unique selling proposition that you want to convey through the ad. And then in terms of making sure, is there a call to action in terms of like, okay, I want to basically make sure that my customers click on this link, and then you can actually say that, okay, if they're clicking on the link, where are they going, and all those kind of things. Will they click on the link if they see, like, for example, in this case, will they click on this ad, or will they basically just skip through and not like watch through the entire video? Again, Videos are very from a content perspective, they have a higher engagement rate because obviously videos show a whole lot of information than static images and all those kind of things. And so you need to basically understand in terms of what exactly you want the customers to do when you're designing that particular ad. Again, as we said, like Facebook provides you with tools in terms of saying, okay, is your content too much text driven, right? And that at that point of time, Facebook will reject it, or you can actually ask for a manual intervention. Or you do you just have a picture and then maybe the content is more in the write up and all those kind of things, right? Now, we've been talking more in terms of like, okay, what do you need to do in order for you to basically get ready for the Facebook campaigns and all those kind of things. But at the end of the day, you actually have to look at like, okay, why am I running this ad? In the sense that, again, we talked about having some objectives in the very beginning, saying that when you're running an ad, you need to have some objectives. So when we talk about objectives, we need to talk about the metrics that can actually say whether you have met that objective or not. Again, we talked about like from an A to A perspective, technically speaking, we always look at all these stages, like where we talk about the awareness or the engagement or the acquisition or loyalty or advocacy. Against all these stages, for you as a brand owner or a marketing agency or a small business owner, you can run some ads saying that I want to increase the number of people who are placing orders online more often, and I want to increase the order value, right? So that means you're basically looking at the loyalty phase, right? Or you want to say that, hey, like I want my customers who are already my customers. I know for a fact that they are satisfied for most part. So I want them to refer me, my business, to their friends and family, which is an advocacy phase. So that means you need to basically run some campaigns around that one. So again, from a relevance metrics perspective, you need to make sure that what are the metrics based on your objective that you can actually come up with saying that, okay, has my campaign met these goals? If I'm basically saying that I want to meet a goal of like increasing orders by 10% or 15% or 20%, how do, first of all, you need to have a baseline for that one. Again, we are all talking about the metrics, right? And then you need to make sure that whether they are actually meeting those goals or not. So in terms of, again, Facebook itself provides certain ad metrics. So what metrics we have talked so far is more in terms of for you as a business owner, but at the same time, they do actually have these metrics in terms of what we call as like the quality ranking or relevance scores, in the sense that, hey, because they don't want to share information, or they don't want to display ads which are not useful, or which are not like basically engaging to the customer. And at the same time, they want to make sure that the relevance score, in this case in terms of how many people are actually clicking as compared to the ads and as compared to the industry and all those kind of things, and making sure that you, because again, bear in mind from Facebook's perspective, they make money only if someone clicks on the ad. And also from a Facebook audience perspective, let's say most businesses are running some drab ads, so the customers will say, okay, they will not be clicking it, they might basically get bored. And we're not saying that bored, but more in terms of saying, hey, why is Facebook showing me some irrelevant content to me and all those kind of things. So it's like a twin-edged sword, in the sense that they want to make sure that they're showing the right content from a business perspective, because they want to make sure that the businesses are getting the return on investment, and also from an audience perspective, they want to make sure that um, they are shown the right relevant ads, right? So in terms of making sure that you are looking at these things in terms of like making sure that the conversion rates, the click rates, and all those kind of things are taken care of. And then here again, the end goal is you want to make sure that on an ongoing basis, you are looking at, okay, am I meeting these goals? Am I basically am I increasing the orders and all those kind of things? So you're monetizing, or basically testing, and the A/B thing, A/B testing, which we talked about, the multiple ad sets or the ad campaigns that we want to talk about. Make sure that you are comparing yourselves with your industry averages in terms of, okay, again, that is provided. Either you can search for them, or Facebook does provide some information on that, so that you can keep track of all these things in terms of, okay, I have a $50 budget, I have run some ads, am I seeing new faces into the door, or am I getting the same faces back into the door because of I'm running some remarketing, or like I want to make sure that people who are visiting the website, I'm basically catering to them, or kind of like asking them to come back or increase the average order value, and so on and so forth. So you need to make sure that on a continuous basis you are testing that, you are basically monitoring in terms of the results, and then making changes to your whole strategy, right from your objective to audience selection to your ad campaigns to ad placements, and then as well as the metrics as well. So for example, if your metrics are not, like, you're not seeing any increase in the number of orders online, but you're actually seeing a whole set of new people walking into the store because of this campaign. So that means your metric of comparing, saying that, okay, I'm running this campaign and I'm trying to get more online orders, but I'm seeing more people coming into the door because of that. So your metric should be, okay, how many in-store orders have increased? So that means maybe the messaging that you're trying to convey across is not, people are getting confused and they're not able to place an order online because of some issues with the online ordering system, or something else is happening, but still people want to basically place an order, and that's why they're either calling you or coming to the store to do a pickup and all those kind of things, right? Again, as we said right from the beginning, given the nature of Facebook, in the sense of the massive numbers, their innate or extreme, we'll not say extreme, but in terms of making or having a lot of information about you as a business, it is you as a business owner or the marketing agency, you can run ads with a very small amount of budget. When we talk about small amount, we are not talking in terms of like a $1, $2, right? As an ongoing concern, or ongoing business, you need to make sure that you are spending a little bit of money and making sure that money pays for it, in the sense that from a return on investment perspective. And given the fact that Facebook has all these, in terms of the network wise, in terms of the number of users, in terms of information about the user, so that you as a business can target those things. It becomes a powerful tool for you to manage your ad budget dollars, so that you do all these things, and rest assured you would see results in terms of the return on investment, number of orders, again, or new people or awareness and all, again, depending upon your this one. So in a nutshell, as if you have any questions with regards to how you can go about creating a Facebook campaigns or anything like that, you are more than welcome to reach out to us at marketing@mconnect.com. Again, as we said, our platform, the mconnect platform, enables you as a small business owner or a restaurant owner to keep track of the customer engagement with your brand, all the way from awareness to advocacy. And if you are interested in having a demo, or if you want to try out our loyalty program, which is frequent, you're more than welcome to kind of like reach out to us, and we can sit down with you and talk more in terms of how we can actually help you, whether you're a small business owner or if you're a marketing agency who primarily works with restaurants or small businesses. We can work with you as well, in terms of how we can actually get more business, or in terms of how you can engage with your clients in terms of getting an ROI, or making sure that you have the customer profiles and all those kind of things. Again, this is the wrap up of our September webinar. We will be shortly announcing our October webinar. Again, it would be around some topics around marketing, small business, and if you have any specific things that you want us to talk about, again, feel free to reach us out at marketing@mconnect.com. And this webinar will also be on our YouTube channel that you can actually watch at your leisure, or you can also share it with your friends and family who you think might benefit from these webinars. Again, thanks once again, and be safe out there.